Abraham and Sarah. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Of course.
I've looked over your file and can see that we certainly have a lot to talk about.
Indeed.
So Abraham, let's begin with you. Let's take it back to the time before God changed your name from Abram. You're 75 years old and God tells you to leave your country to set out on a journey to a land that you have no clue about. Tell me about that experience. Yeah, so I'm living in Haran and God speaks to me and he says that he wants me to leave my father's household and to leave my country, which, you know, is basically social suicide. But I was like, hey, what is life without a little faith, right? So I set out for Canaan and I go with my wife, Sarai, at the time, my nephew Lot, and all of my possessions. And that's when God promised you that he would give your children that land that the Canaanites were living in, correct?
That's correct.
Got you. So fast forward to that time when you and your wife moved to Egypt. What caused you to make that decision to move there? Well, there was a famine in the land that we were in at the time, and it got bad. Like, it was very severe. So I figured that the best course of action for that time would be for me and my family to move to Egypt. And that's where the tensions began. Well, I wouldn't say tensions. It's complicated. Well, I just say that because in my communications with Sarah prior to our meeting today, she mentioned that everything was going good until you pawned her off to a pharaoh in Egypt. Babe, pawned off? Really? I was upset. So Sarah, tell me why you're upset. Well, I'm over it now. It's just, well, it's fine. It's nothing. You sure? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, well, I guess that settles that. You know, I just find it funny how, oh my goodness, Doc, you see? She just said there was no problem. Okay. Let's hear Sarah out. No, because like, I get it, okay? One time you give me over to a king to be his wife to save your life. Fine. But twice? We are talking multiple violations here. Multiple. But I'm not even going to get into that part yet. Look, I agree. Being given off to a king isn't the worst thing that can happen to a woman. And shoot, there's probably a lot of women that would be happy for that to happen to them.
Exactly.
But first of all, Father Abraham, who has many sons has he. I'm not other woman. I am your woman. And I expect to be treated as such. Okay, but Sarah, you are cutting out so many important details. Like, we are missing the entire context of this whole situation. That's important. You can't leave that out. Okay, well, let's get into the context then. What happened? What made you give up your beautiful wife to another man to make her his wife? Well, that's just it, Doc. She's beautiful. I mean, just look at her. You think I could just walk up into Egypt with a beautiful woman like that on my arm without them trying to kill me just to have her?
Quite unlikely.
Exactly. This is Egypt we're talking about. Them ninjas don't play, especially when it comes to beauty. So, as we're about to enter Egypt, I talked to my wife and I said, look, I know how beautiful you are. And when these Egyptians see you, they're going to be like, oh, that's his wife, meaning mine. And they're going to kill me and let you live. So I said, when we get there, just tell them that you're my sister. So that way my life can be spared. Oh, so you lied. Nah, I wouldn't say I lied. I didn't lie. I just didn't tell the whole truth. What do you mean by that? She technically is my sister. Half sister. Same dad, different mom. Well, I'm just gonna leave that right there. So continue, please. Tell me what happened. Right. So, long story short, Pharaoh takes her to be his wife and God isn't happy about it. Nah, God isn't happy about it at all, to say the absolute least. And God was actually so mad that he ended up sending a bunch of diseases on Pharaoh and his entire household. And it was bad. It was real bad. It was disgusting, actually. It was nasty. But Eventually, Pharaoh figured out why God sent all those diseases on his household, and then he came to me. You know, he was mad, of course, when he asked me why I lied to him. He kicked me out of his country. But to be fair, he did allow me to, leave with my wife and everything that I had, including all of the cattle and the new servants and all the wealth that he allowed me to acquire during my time in Egypt. So yeah, he was a really nice guy. And I think it ended up, pretty good, the whole situation. Could have been worse. Wow. Well, Sarah, you said that this was not the first time that this happened. Tell me about the second time. Well, to be quite honest, this was something that we spoke about before we even got there. Like, he told me that the way that I could show my love to him is that everywhere we go, I would say that I'm his sister. And of course, I love him very much and I don't want him to die. So I agreed. But yeah, back to the story. It went down pretty similar to the last time. We pull up in Gerar and Abraham pulls me to the side and comes up with the same stupid plan. Tells Abimelech, the king of Gerar, that I'm his sister. And Abimelech censors me, makes me his wife, and then boom. God appears to Abimelech in a dream and tells him that he's as good as dead because he took a married woman to be his wife. Now, the good thing is that up until that point, he didn't come near me. Like, he didn't touch me during that whole time. And that was because God was having mercy on him, because God knew he really didn't know that I was a taken woman. So during that whole time, no freaky deaky stuff went down. I just want to make that clear. Mm-hmm. All right. But yeah, God appeared to him in a dream, told him what was going on. Man was scared half to death. And, told God that he sincerely did not know that I was Abraham's wife. Well, Abraham at the time, that I was his wife. So he gave me right back to Abraham, and along with 1,000 shekels of silver and other gifts just to make up for the offense. Wow. Well, I can imagine how upset the king was. Oh yeah, he was pretty upset. Well, I mean, he was probably more scared than he was upset, but yeah, he was furious because when he took Sarah to be his wife, God actually caused all of the women in Abimelech's household to not be able to conceive any children during that entire time. And that includes his wife and all his female servants. So yeah, it was pretty tough. Wow, well, God don't play about you, Sarah. No, he does not. But yeah, once Sarah was returned to me, God healed Abimelech and all of the women in his household. So they were able to have children after that. And again, turned out pretty good, don't you think? Could have been worse. Interesting. I can imagine the strain that these past events have had on your marriage. These past events? Oh, baby, no. This was nothing compared to what we faced afterwards. Oh, well, I didn't think it could get much worse than your husband giving you to other men. Oh, really? Didn't I tell you that he almost assassinated my baby? Oh my goodness, my one and only child? Or how about the time when he slept with my servant so that she could give him a baby because I couldn't at the time? Context and details, Sarah. Context and details. You keep on doing this, man. You can't just be saying these things out loud without providing the necessary and important and clearly missing information. You know what? I think we should take a break. I personally am parched, so I'm gonna get myself a glass of water or perhaps something stronger. Yeah, well, don't have whatever Noah was having. That thing will knock you out cold. Or have you dancing around in your birthday suit.